Does it say REC? Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, we're back this week. And I think the last thing that we did was trouble spots. Was the last thing that we did. It was the last thing that we talked about was trouble spots. So that brings us to this: braces and dictionaries. Okay? So this is really, I mean, I know I probably say this every week, but this is really important stuff. Okay? Because if you do it the right way, you don't have to go through all of these different channels. Okay? So really listen and pay attention to what they're going to tell you.
Let's see how braces are used for special text within dictionary entries. Within dictionary entries. Eclipse dictionary entries use braces to surround text that must not be inserted literally. This includes paragraph symbols, punctuation marks.
Okay, and what they're telling you right here is...
This includes...
Have y'all learned Q&A? Have y'all learned the Q&A symbols?
Yes.
Y'all have?
Yes.
Rolando?
Yeah.
Have you?
I forgot. What was it? Red Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Rolando, you good?
Yeah.
All right.
We touched on it.
That's just a joke. But anyway, so what you need to do is, this is a bracket, okay? So it's not parentheses, it's a little bracket. So find it on your computer. And it should be right below, like the backspace. Right below to the left, to the backspace. You see that?
You have to shift that.
Open bracket, close bracket, okay? Now to do all of this stuff, you know, when you come to your answer symbol, okay? And it doesn't come up, and it comes up like that, okay? And you want to global it in your main dictionary. How do you do it?
Control G.
Control G, or in hyperkeys, you had it.
In hyperkeys?
Mm-hmm. G.
It's just G.
Just G.
Okay.
In hyperkeys. Now G, like we've gone over, in hyperkeys only allows you one stroke. It only allows you to global one stroke. So if it's one stroke, then you're good. If it's multiple strokes, then you need to do G, and if it's more than one, then you start doing Control G. Okay? So to me, I always find it easier just to do Control G. I don't even think about it anymore. I never even do G in hyperkeys anymore. But if you can differentiate, because I wasn't the one who learned it that way. I was on a different version of Stenograph before I went to Eclipse. So the way that I kind of learned was just Control G. But if you know that it's one stroke, it's what in hyperkeys?
G.
Or?
Control G.
Control G, okay? So now you've just globaled this right here, okay? So now what it's gonna do is it's gonna bring up that little box. You remember? That tells you what do you want to global it as.
Right.
Okay? More than likely, that's probably going to be one of your options. So if it is one of your options and it's bracket, capital A, bracket, then you just hit the number. You just hit number 1 or number 2, whichever one it is, and it puts it in there, and it's going to put this thing in that little box up there, and then you go on. So now what this thing does is it already tells it, okay, now this is an answer symbol. So now what it does is it returns A, space over, tab over, cap next. That is what those brackets tells it to do. So if you mess up and don't put that bracket with the A like that, it's not going to know what to do. So if you put parentheses A, that's what it's going to come out as, parentheses A. Okay? So you have to know that it's the bracket. The bracket is what tells the software what to do.
Like a
And it's real important in this software because they use the brackets. And you'll see as we go on what it tells it to do. Got it?
Paragraph symbols, punctuation marks.
So on punctuation marks, it's the same thing. How do y'all do comma? RBGS?
Yes.
Okay, so same thing right there. Global it, which is what?
Control G.
Control G.
Or G. in
Or G.
hyperkey.
And then that's all you do. Bracket, comma, bracket. That's all you do. And it knows to put the comma right after the other word, space, other word. Period is the same thing. Period at the end of the sentence, space, space, cap next. That's what that brackets tells it to do. You don't have to put all of that in there. You don't have to put space, space, cap next. You don't have to do all of that. It already knows what to do just because of those brackets. Same thing with the question mark, okay?
Prefixes.
Okay, this is the same thing. Prefixes and suffixes, okay? Be real careful with this, okay? Because, and I have problems with this, and that's why I'm telling you. Because, like, you have to be able to write it right. Does that make sense? So the way that I do prevent is P-R-E and then vent. So prevent. I don't write out the long E, which
Right.
would make it easier for me, okay? But say they say, what's a word that ends in P-R-Y?
What do you don't write up on PRY? Spectre?
No, P-R-Y. P-R-Y.
Oh,
or-
PRY? Supply.
I can't even think of a word that ends
can't
in
either.
PRY.
Oh, got it. I mean, there's a ton of. Anyway, so you have to be real
That's
careful.
the only place that PR long E would be is at the end of a word. So why is it in the brackets?
No, it's
for
going to
the-
be at the beginning of a word. This is a prefix. So
'Cause
it's
every
going to be at
time-
the beginning of a word. So like prevent, preschool.
Right, but we
Pre-
only using the PRE. We're not using PRAOE.
But that is, AOE is long E.
Right.
Yeah. So, God, I can't even think of a word. Anyway, so you have to be real careful with this because if you want it to be a prefix, then this is what you do. It's bracket, PRE, caret. Caret means put it together. So regardless of what the word is, it's going to put the next word, and it doesn't matter if it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If that's and it's one word and it's that long, it doesn't matter. It's going to put it together with that word, and it doesn't matter what word it is. You don't have to have it in your dictionary. So now this is real important because when you go to define that word, say you want to define the word prevent. Okay? Well, you don't have to define it as two strokes, pre and vent, because vent can stand on its own, like an air-conditioned vent.
Right.
So it can stand on its own. So all you need to do is make sure that you have pre, so you global pre, you put it as a prefix because this is where it is. Now if the caret comes behind the word, it's a what?
Suffix.
It's a suffix. So be real careful where you put that caret, okay?
Suffixes and other entries.
And that's what they're showing you right here. ED, I mean for D, ER, all of these. So see where they have the caret? So now when you do it this way, it's going to automatically know. It's going to put ED on that word, okay? So say the word was separate, and you want to do separated, okay? And you do it like this, the right way, bracket, caret, ED, bracket. Well, guess what it does now?
Double E.
It already knows to drop that other E off and put it right.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter if it's study and you want to put studied.
Change the Y.
You don't have to change anything. All you define D as is D, is ED. That's it. So now it knows to change it to drop the Y, put an I, and ED. You don't have to do any of that.
I don't know what happened with my software one day, but it was not doing my suffix.
Something's wrong.
So I had to call.
Yeah.
And they fixed it. But I'm like, man, I had to keep going back in and dropping this and adding that. I'm like, what is going on with this software?
And you shouldn't have to. So if it's doing something like that, something real small is wrong.
Sometimes I do get the double E and then D like separated.
Well, then
You have to call
something's wrong.
Eclipse and they'll fix
Is
it.
that like a mistro?
No.
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 And
Something
what
with the software.
really probably what it is it's something wrong with this, probably. Okay, it's probably something wrong with your suffix. Either it doesn't have the bracket or sometimes they'll put the caret outside the bracket and it's gonna make it do that. It's still gonna make it put onto the word, but it's not gonna know to drop off the other E. And that's probably what happened, is they put the caret on the outside, which is the old way of doing things, okay? So that may be just what's in your dictionary. So if it is, then you just need to go in your dictionary and make sure that it's set up this way, okay? And it's something real simple, but it can make things really complicated,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm gonna tell you a little shortcut. If you don't have time to mess with it right then, you really need to fix it. But if you don't have time to mess with it right then really just go on to the word. What's the letter for prefixes and suffixes in hyperkeys? Seriously? Somebody's gonna get whacked with this stick. Huh? W. W. So are y'all in the push W? Make sure that you're in hyperkeys, which is what? How do you get into hyperkeys?
Alt-Z.
Alt-Z. Make sure you're in hyperkeys. So in hyperkeys, the little cursor is gonna be fat.
You said push the W?
Go down a little bit. You're not doing it here. And push W. And that's what comes up, okay? See? Yeah. Just do that. Hit the. And see how it comes up? So go through that little list and see what they are, because it'll add those things to the end of the word. See, like D is ED, E is EST, F is ERS. You know, so you don't have to put those endings anymore. So if you want that at the end of the word, all you do is hit W, look it up, hit that letter, automatically puts it on. You don't have to worry about changing any letters at the end of the word. Trust me, guys, you're gonna love this one. You need to remember that one, which is what?
W hyper
W.
in hyperkeys.
W and hyperkeys, okay? So say you're in it and you hit separate and you wanted to hit separated and it has two E's and a D. You don't have time to mess with it, go through the dictionary, put it on that word, hit W, hit D for ED, and it'll take it off. It's pretty neat. Yeah. So if you don't have time to mess with it, that's how you do it, but you need to fix it.
Since all of these letters is already taken from A through Z, and I want to add a suffix of less, I wonder what letters would be best
You
used.
can change it.
Okay.
You can change these things. You can modify these things, and we're going to go through that. It's a totally different. It's a totally different lesson, but they're going to show you how to modify these things. So if some of these fit to your liking, great, and if they don't, then you can change them. It's really good. All right.
You can always just add double letters. Well, not double letters like A, but probably like
You can
L
do
and
numbers.
S together. Okay.
You can do numbers.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. And then they're going to show you how to do it. So you can add things or you can modify certain letters. Like if you know that you're not going to use one like ABI, LITY ability, and you know, you're going to use it. Trust me, I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
But you're going to use that one a lot. Then you can modify that, okay? And say it's on a letter that you think, you know, that just doesn't come to me real quick. You know, it's M for ability. Well, that doesn't even make sense. And it should be like A. I think it is A.
Yes. I.
I?
Mm-hmm.
I
A
for
is,
ability. Ability is what they're doing. So they try to get the letter pretty close to what you need it to do, but whatever. We're getting a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
But what you need to remember is the braces. Okay? Most important thing.
that you don't necessarily make every day. The globaling and dictionary entries dialogues offer help for creating special entries. You can either press Control-E or drop down the list, where entries require you to...
See, and this is pretty neat too, because I'm going to back this up just a little bit.
You can either press...
This little thing is pretty cool. So, are y'all on something right now? On a word right there?
Yes.
Do Control-G on that word. Does the box come up?
There is no steno tracking for that
There's
text.
no stand up.
Yeah, and it's not going to let you probably do it because we're in the lesson.
We'll have to be in a-
But if you're not in the lesson, yeah, it'll bring up that box. So in that box, do Control-E. See how it brings that up? So it brings up all these little things. Get into a job that you just did. Minimize this, what we're doing, and get into a job that you did where you did some practicing. So just minimize that. Don't close it out. Just minimize it. Okay, let me see if I can, if it'll let me do it. Yeah.
No, it's not letting me. It's opening up the. Oh, I go to recent.
I think you have to run two copies.
You have to run 2 copies?
I think so.
It won't let you.
No, it won't let me.
It's letting me. Oh no, it's not. No, it has me in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, just open 2 copies.
Are you sure you want to run multiple copies?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're here to Control-G. Right, we're there.
Okay.
I don't know why it's giving me a
Are
hard
y'all in there?
time. No,
Yep.
Are you in a job?
no, it's giving me a hard time.
Just open another copy.
I did.
Hmm?
I said I did. There it is.
Just put it anywhere up there. Just put it like where there is. Make sure you're in hyperkeys. And do Control-G. Okay. All right, so you're right here, okay? And this is, I'm in something too. So right here, under the special entries, you can either drop it down or you can do Control-E. And it tells you right there, special entries, Control-E. Okay, so you do Control-E and it opens up this box and you can do all of this stuff without having to remember how to do any of it. So let's just say, you know what, I want to do pre as a prefix. So you just push P and it goes to prefix. So it's going to go to every P that's in here. It's pretty neat. So when you find the one that you want, you press enter and it's going to put this little box in there. It's going to put that, it's going to put the bracket, a prompt right there with the caret and the thing. So it's going to put the prompt where it needs to go. So you have to be careful that you choose the right one, okay? You don't want to choose prefix when it's a suffix, okay? Because it's going to put the prompt right there. And then you just start typing, PRE, and then enter, okay? I'm going to do it. And that's what it does, okay? And then what you do is you do PRE, and that's all you do. It's going to be in your main dictionary, what you wanted in your main dictionary, and then you press enter. So you don't even know, you don't even have to remember how to do prefix, suffix, that it has the box, doesn't have the box, where the caret goes. All you have to do is remember to get into special entries, P for prefix, or just scroll down until you find prefix or whatever you want. And I'm going to show you some different some different things. Really, we're kind of getting a little far-fetched, and I don't want to get too far off. But I'll show you again. So Control E, and it brings this stuff. So you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do a new paragraph. You can do speakers. You don't even have to know how to do speakers. And you can do a speaker that way. Okay, and it shows you how to do it. Okay? And we'll get into that later. But I mean, there's paragraph types, underline, you can bold stuff, italics, normal, center, parentheticals, all kinds of stuff. Okay? So when you want to define something, it's like, man, I don't remember how to do that. I don't remember how to set up a parenthetical. Or I don't remember how to do a auto include for one of my block files. And that is like when you do, when he says go on, when the judge says go off the record and you do off, you can define that as where it comes in and it comes parentheses whereupon an off the record discussion was held. And you do all of that by doing off, by doing an auto include, which is, y'all see it?
Yeah, up under paragraph type. Down, right there.
Auto include right there. And it's going to go to your block files and it's going to ask you which block file you want to put in there. It's sweet, man. It's awesome. It is awesome. But that's how you do it. Okay?
It doesn't, that would just be a note for you. It wouldn't print out in the transcript.
What's that?
That auto include, it's off the record. So it won't come out.
No, none of that's going to, like you're going to do off, none of that comes in. What comes in is it just says whereupon an off the record discussion was held because you typed off on your machine, which we're going to get into that next semester when we get into Eclipse 2.
It's like notes for the reporter, right?
Yeah. So that's what you need to remember, okay? The E, special entries.
Control E, or drop down the list. Where entries require you to type, as in the case of a suffix, your cursor is automatically positioned at the spot where you need to type text.
And that's what it's telling you. It already puts the prompt where you need to type. So you don't even have to remember, oh man, is it in front of the caret and back of the caret, blah, blah, blah. If you did suffix and it was a suffix, all you do is start typing and it's right there.
Text. While globaling, you can use shortcuts to insert symbols for paragraphs or punctuation. Thus, F2 opens the speaker list so you can choose a name that's already there or insert a new one. F3 inserts the symbol for a question, and F4 an answer.
So you see what it's telling you right there? So if you're trying to define an answer or a question, either one, it doesn't really matter. Y'all know how to do that on your computer already?
Do what?
Like say you forgot to hit the question symbol and you need a question symbol right there. Do you know how to do it?
No.
F3. F3 is question, F4 is answer. Are you in a job right now?
Nope, I exited out when you did.
Get back in. Minimize it. Keep it minimized because I'm gonna tell you to keep going to these things.
Okay.
They put the bracket. Because I was already at the intro for the prefix, so I put that symbol in there.
Oh yeah, that's too many brackets. Get out of that.
Yeah, I put it through there. Put that. Because it's prompted me to define.
Just get out of that. Reset that.
Makes that right there.
Okay, and you're right there. Let's just say come to during. Right there. And you want that to be a question. Hit F3. See how it did? Now do F4. And it turns it into an answer. You don't have to remember any of that stuff. You don't have to remember anything. All you do is put it where you want it.
What is going
Right
on?
there. Undo. And then just do F3. Control. Yours is probably functional. See? What you got?
It's not letting me pull this crap up again.
Do Alt-E.
Huh?
Alt-E. And then just pick a... Alt-E gets you into transcript. Or you have this little thing up here. Transcript. Okay? So say you want it right there. Now do F3. You want to do a question right there. Do F3. Well, yours is put the function. F3.
Oh.
Now you want to turn it into an answer. F4. function F4. So you don't have to remember any of that stuff. Nothing. You don't have to remember return, question, tab over, cap next, none of that. It just automatically does it. Okay? Remember those. Trust me, you're going to want to remember those. But let's just say that you want to global something. Okay? And let's just see if it does it. Get on a word right there. And do G.
I'm not in hyperkeys, huh? I am in.
No, you're in hyperkeys. Do it, G. Do Control G. Okay. And let's just do F3. Function F3. See how it did it? So you don't have to type that in anymore. Okay?
Yeah, but I didn't do the G to do control. I'm in hyperkey.
Like you're in hyperkeys, do G.
Just use the G on.
Do Control G.
Control G, good.
Okay. And now do function F3.
This one.
Function. Here's this function. That fit?
And then F3. Very good.
Do function F3. Do Control G.
Control G.
Okay. And now do function F3. Do it again.
Same thing.
His G not working in hyperkeys
Your
either.
touchpad has been disabled.
Yeah.
How do you disable? You know what? Just do F3.
No, it's
Don't
been-
do the function.
no,
Just
it's
do
been-
F3.
no, it's been-
Oh, there it is.
It's just F3. That's it.
Okay, you enabled the touchpad. Okay. You got it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it automatically puts it in there. You see how it did it? Don't define that. Don't define that because it's going to define that stroke. I was just showing you how to do it. So you get on a certain stroke, you don't even have to remember. All you need to remember is F3 is question, F4 is answer. You want it, this is your stroke for an answer. You do F4, it automatically puts it in there. You want it in your main, boom, you're done. Okay? Same thing with these. Control comma, control period, control slash is for the question mark. Control semicolon is a semicolon, control colon is a colon, and control tilde is for the tilde. So when you do the control on these for the punctuation, then it's automatically going to put it in there. It's going to put the bracket, comma, bracket. So you don't have to go in there and do it. It's automatically going to do it. Okay? You got it?
Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
what's a tilde? What's that?
The tilde is going to put it together. So say it's like Your Honor. So at the end of the sentence it says, no further questions, Your Honor, and it puts your and then honor on the next. You never want them separated. You never want your and then honor on the next line, okay? You always want it together. So when you define it, you want to make sure that that tilde is in there so that even if it's going to leave the your at the end, it automatically puts it with the your, okay? That's what the tilde is for, okay? Any questions about that?
To insert the symbol for a comma, press Control comma. Likewise, Control period. For a quick question mark, press Control slash. There's also Control semicolon and Control colon, which would involve the Shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for a lock space. However, if you have an entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again, and you'll get hyphens. Press it a third time to get back.
You see what it's doing right there?
Yeah.
So if you want the word together, you see what it was doing? I'll back it up just a bit. Is this actually
If you
pretty
have an
neat?
entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again.
See, so if you always want these words, like say it's Your Honor, or it's At the Door Store, and that's the name of the store, At the Door Store, then it needs to be on the same line. It's not At the Door Store. It needs to be on the same line, okay? So you want them together. These aren't going to show up.
I was going to ask you that.
It's not going to show up in the transcript. All it's going to do is just put these words together. That's all it's going to do.
Make sure it's on the same line.
Make sure it's on the same line.
Like
Is what it's going to do.
Before it had the slashes in there.
Yeah, and it's going to show you that.
And you'll get
So if you want this and it's at the door store, and it needs to be hyphenated, then that's how you do it. You do it with the lock. And you just keep hitting lock, and if it's not the one you want, keep hitting lock and it'll change it, and then it'll change it back to where it doesn't have anything anymore. Okay? So if you keep hitting it, it'll just go back to where it was.
hyphens. Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces.
See? So the first time it's going to put it with the tildes, next time it's going to put it with the hyphen, and the next time it's going to bring it back with nothing. So you pick which one you want. Okay?
Bunch of shortcuts, but it can really save you time.
Any questions about that?
No.
No questions?
I don't.
And this is what it's going to show you. We kind of went through it and it kind of touched on some of the stuff, but this is where it's going to show you how to do this stuff. Okay? So say you want a parenthetical paragraph in there. That's how it's going to be defined. Okay? So it's just showing you the different things. Say you want a speaker paragraph where it comes up Mr. Jones, Mr. So-and-so, and then they start talking. That's how you set it up. So bracket, capital S, semicolon, Mr. Jones all in caps, close bracket. But you can go to that auto include and say, you know it's Mr. Jones. That's my stroke for Mr. Jones. So I go to the auto include, I go to the special entries, which is in the little box.
The E.
Control E.
Control E.
Control E. Go into special entries, auto include, and for your speaker. So you pick the one for the speaker. Okay? So there's all kinds of things. Like if you want a decimal point, then all you write is decimal. You don't have to write space, point, no space, numbers. You don't have to write all of that. All you have to do is whatever text you have for that, all you have to do is define it as decimal. Okay? So if they say like, I do it different, but let's just say they say it's 7.3 milliliters. So I do 7, and instead of point, I do poin, P-O-I-N. So I'm going to define it differently. Poin is going to be decimal. Poin, and then 3. So it knows to put the 7.3. It doesn't put a decimal. It just puts the point. Okay, and that's how it's going to be defined. Just by defining it as decimal, it already knows what to do. Okay. Okay, now it's just kind of going through and telling you like on punctuation. We've already covered that. So really what it's going to always do is it's going to show you the video and then it's going to explain to you in words what they were trying to say or whatever. And then it's going to show you different ways of doing it, even if they didn't talk about it, like a delete space, a lock space, intelligent, parentheses, whatever. Okay? So it's going to show you those things. But Any questions about that? Now we're going to do composite globals.
When you write quickly, your steno machine may register separate strokes as if they were written at the same time. Eclipse the same time. Eclipse composite dictionary entries can unscramble this mess. This one dictionary entry performs 3 steps. First, it creates a question paragraph, then it inserts the word yes, then it ends the sentence with a period. Here, a suffix s was written, immediately followed by a question stroke. Eclipse understands. A glance at the list, it's choice 3. Of course, I could have...
You see what it's telling you right there? So if you accidentally drag a stroke into another stroke and you do it all the time, then you can define it. And that's what it's telling you, okay? So really what they did was they put the question, it was supposed to be bottles, 2 bottles, question, okay, okay? So what they did was they drug the S into the stroke after, which is the question symbol, okay?
Right.
So you have a way to define that. And the way is bracket, suffix, S, bracket, and then bracket, question, bracket. So, and it's going to show you.
Also gotten help from the special entries list, but because of the global magic features, even that help was not needed. I'll place this in my main dictionary.
And see what it did? It put the S on bottles, came back with question, okay. All of that from that, okay? So it knows what to do. So if you define it correctly, it's going to know what to do. So if you do it all the time, and you always drag that S into your question symbol, then you might want to define it. Even if it's D, G, any of that stuff. Same thing with the answer. If you hit that answer, and it's the same thing, answer S, which is going to be hard to find because it's going to be in there. It might be a little bit darker. Well, you don't even have paper anymore, so you're not going to know. So you have to be real careful, okay? And they're going to show you how to do like, yes sir, yes ma'am, with the answer all the same. And people write it like that on purpose, okay? And that's what they're going to show you how to do here in just a bit.
I think I have one of your classmates. Her name is Carmen.
Yeah.
She gave me a list of stuff like that, so
Oh,
I
really?
can do it.
Yeah. And it's good. If you know how to do it, I never got the hang of it.
But you'll have to go in and actually put it in your dictionary. Take
Yeah.
time to do your dictionary.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, I mean, you have to be careful with that. And that's what they're doing right here, okay? Like they did it in one stroke, okay? And if you know how to do that and you can read it, more power to you.
Exactly, because it looks like it'd be confusing.
And it is to me. It is. And it, you know, it saves you a millisecond of time.
Exactly.
But maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need that millisecond to catch up. Who knows? I don't.
I think I'll probably take more time trying to figure out how to write it.
And that's what I've tried to do. And it should come to you like that. If it doesn't come to you like that, then you got to figure out another way.
Right.
That's the same thing with briefs. You shouldn't have to sit there and think, oh, geez, what's a brief for that? If you got to do that, 1, don't ever write that brief. Or 2, if it's a really good brief, then you need to practice the heck out of it. Just practice the heck out of it to where it comes as second nature. Okay, you don't even have to think about it. And that's the whole reason of briefs. Briefs is not to sit there and like, what was that?
There's a good brief for,
no,
it's
you've
a
already
good
dropped
brief
10 words.
for at the scene of the crime. It's a real good brief
Yeah.
for that, but I cannot remember to do the brief. I'm like, oh, I was a brief for that.
And I don't deal with accidents anymore, and I used to know it.
It's like STK. I might be saying the wrong one because I know it's a asterisk,
Yeah.
BGS, something like that. But it's a
might
real
be-
good brief.
It might be,
for it.
no, because time is sometime. No.
By the time I figure it out, I'll be typed out
Yeah,
at the scene
and
of the
that's
crime.
just it. It's supposed to come second nature, so be careful with that. But that's what they're trying to do right there. Yes, period. You see all of that? And it's in one stroke. Question, yes, period.
So where's
All of
yes
that is
at?
in one stroke, huh?
Where's yes at?
Right
That's
there.
R-E?
Right there is Y,
They defined it as.
Y-E,
I mean, I
and
know,
then
but
FBLT.
but looking at it, because I know that part of that stroke is supposed to be the actual cue for question.
And that's just it. They just drug the E in there.
Probably just
So the E
could be yes.
Stands for yes.
Okay.
stands for yes because you
All right.
already have the Y because you've already typed in the Y with the question.
Exactly.
Just putting that E tells them that it was the yes, and then the FPLT is the period. Really?
Right.
If you
That's
get
a
all of
lot.
that from that,
Exactly.
you probably need to be launching rockets in NASA. You know? I mean, and some people get it. Some people really get it. And if you do, more power to you. Help yourself, okay? It wasn't something that came easy to me, so I didn't use it. So let's see if it does it right here. And this is the little exercise. And it does. It gives you that option. So you see what they're trying to do right there? By reading that sentence? Sounds rude to me, comma, but this is my first deposition. Okay? So really, they want to do that, and they meant to do it in one stroke. Okay? They meant to do it in one stroke. So if you can do it, then how do you global it?
Control G.
Control G.
Or
G. in
or
hyper-
G, and it's number 1. See, it's me, bracket, comma, bracket. See? So you press number 1, puts it in there. I want it in my main because that's how I'm going to do it every time. And see how it does it? It already knows how to do it.
I don't see that.
Huh?
So I don't see that what you're looking at up there.
Are you in the exercise?
Oh, never mind. I see. It's just extra stuff. Don't worry about it.
Hmm?
No, it's just extra stuff.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
All right.
I don't know if everybody else's look like my screen, but it doesn't look like that. It's just all this extras in there for me to, I guess, play with.
Are you down for right now?
That's what. See, I told you. It's the same thing, except it got all of this extra stuff in there.
Oh, okay.
That's
And I think what I did was I already went through the exercise. I didn't reload the exercise, so all of this stuff is already done. So what they
Okay.
want you to do is go through there. So put your cursor right there. And global it, which is G. So it's telling you that it's a
Okay.
question, right?
Yes.
So what do?
Push 1.
1. You
Enter.
want it in your main? Yes. Push enter.
Wait. Do I have to push on my main dictionary?
No, it's going to show you, it's always pretty much always going to be in your main. So if
Okay.
you want it in a job dictionary, then you need to change it.
Okay.
But you always just want to check as, just to make sure.
All right.
Okay, now go down to here. What is
in the
that
world?
supposed to
That's
be?
supposed to be a period.
Okay, put G. 1. See? Are y'all doing the exercise? No. And it doesn't really matter. Are you? Yeah, it's good. So you see what they're doing?
Yeah, they want us to do
So
that.
it's telling me that it's an answer, so what's the right
No,
answer?
number 1.
Number 1. You need to do 1 up here.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes those don't work. Just do 1.
But that's the answer.
Yeah, that's it. And then enter. And that's it. So go down to the next one.
That's not close. This is a question.
Yeah. So do
We control G on this one.
1.
And
That's it. That's it.
That's pretty.
Okay. So what I did, I just didn't reload the lesson again. So if yours looks different than this, it's because we've already gone through and done it.
So this one down at the bottom where it says reporter's note, is that supposed to be in parentheses?
What's that?
Right there where it's right, yeah. So am I supposed to put that in parentheses? Because I don't think that's coming up on my
What's it coming up as?
screen, person, hiring.
Should be parentheses. Oh, you didn't put both of them in there. Get out of it. And do Control G twice.
Oh, Control G twice.
Just do Control G. Okay.
But it's gonna put that little G in there if I hit OK, right?
Because you had already put something in there. Get out of that.
Alright. Plug up my computer before it downs.
Get out of that. Now do Control G twice. It still didn't come up. Well, then all you need to do is put bracket.
Okay.
You didn't do it twice.
So you said bracket?
Mm-hmm. Paren. And then bracket. Close bracket. Okay. Enter. See?
Where's my close bracket? Oh, maybe it just doesn't go in.
It doesn't have it on there.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Got it.
So if y'all want to go through and do that little exercise, you can. And if you want to know what the answers are, this is what it's going to look like. Okay? So it goes through and it tells you every one that should be the right answer. Okay?
So my click here where it says dash dash,
Yeah.
it's not allowing me to do dash dash.
Why?
It's already blacked out.
Do Control G again. And now do what they tell you. Bracket.
Oops.
And then bracket. Enter. See? So the same thing on this one. It has dash dash right here. So you have to be sure to put in both dashes. If not, it's just gonna, dash is a word, okay? So you want to be careful. So if you want dashes, then you need to do something. The way that I do dashes is I do the way that we learned was you do A-O-E-U. So you do the vowels. Is dashes for me. All of them at the same time. Okay? But if you want to do dash dash for it to come up that. And that's the way that it's defined right there. You don't have to put the space, dash dash, space. It already knows by putting the brackets where to put it. Okay? Any questions with that?
Oh, great.
Any questions, guys?
No, but I made my screen really big and I don't know how to get it back.
How do you do it? Control Shift F8.
No, I'm talking about this one.
Holy cow.
Exactly.
Get out of it. Get out of it.
I don't know what I did.
What you You don't know what you hit?
Mm-mm. No. Sheesh. We can't drag it small, right?
Mhm.
We can't drag it small, right? And I guess that other one is for the bottom, or no? This is horrible. What if we can get the reset? Well, as long as it still works the same, I'll figure it out. I don't know what happened.
Where's the file? We're gonna go off for just a second, guys.
Just to stop right here?
Yeah.